Hey guys, Jay Games here again. This is me. What if Luffy became a cyborg? Now, in this video could have two titles. Two. What if Luffy was a cyborg? And what if Vegapunk trained Luffy? Now, what if Vegapunk trained Luffy would basically come from the recent chapters, last two or three recent chapters, so 1061 to 1063. And basically, about these three chapters, what happened is, basically, this is a spoiler for the manga. The Straws get to Egghead Island, where they find out that the whole island is actually Vegapunk's. So it's a regular island with people and everything on it, but it's the most technically evolved island, or technologically evolved island. And we find out that Vegapunk has around 6 bodies. Think of them as the passive pain from Naruto. There's six bodies. There's 6 bodies that follow one's orders. What makes this better than passive pain is that they are sentient. They know the fake bodies and they still obey Vegapunk. At least the ones we've met obey him. Besides like Lilith, who shows some loyalty to him. It's just she does what she wants a lot too. But all the bodies are named after gods, after like Greek gods, or after like humans that infected humanity in a very large way. Like there's Shaka, there's Edison, there's Lilith, there's a few other ones too. I can't remember them off the top of my head. But this one basically, Vegapunk was tracking the Nika fruit after it was stolen because he kind of heard about what this fruit can do, and what it was as well. So with this, he basically found Kokoyashi as he heard Shanks' crew came from an island this way. The only island that's good for stopping by for like short amount of time would be this island. So kind of like a process of elimination kind of thing, and he's using a fake body to do this, but also he's nearby at all times because he needs to look at everything as well. So yeah. So the 7th body that's only temporary, but looks around, and can't find the fruit anywhere. I think that Shanks may have sold it or something. But eventually he does find a boy on the island with a devil fruit. This boy's around 14 years old, and he has a brother with him. But eventually the brother would leave around a week after Vegapunk arrives to go become a pirate. So this Vegapunk asks the boy who he is. He says his name is Monkey D. Luffy. And immediately, with Luffy's name and everything about him, he thinks that Luffy is probably the one with the fruit. It's probably the most likely choice. This kid already seems insanely strong, like someone like Garp or Dragon. But also, he has a devil fruit. And this fruit isn't awakened yet, and he doesn't know too much about Nika. But his body will talk to Luffy, and Luffy can tell this body is a robot, so he's talking to it like a normal person. Luffy talks about the idea of freedom and everything. And Vegapunk immediately realizes this guy is probably the one who had Nika fruit because Nika symbolizes freedom. Luffy's whole ideal is freedom. So yeah. So Vegapunk immediately recognizes Luffy as the wielder of the Nika fruit. And Vegapunk basically told Luffy he can make him a true pirate ship, one greater than any other in the world, if Luffy helps him with a project he's been working on. Now Vegapunk, his body says, he's an ex-marine scientist. He kind of left because the Marines weren't really the best people in the world. But he wants Luffy to help him with this. Just he won't make Luffy's adventure any easier besides he giving him a fast ship, and that's about it. And Luffy agrees with this. And Vegapunk would begin enhancing Luffy's body. And he basically enhanced every aspect of Luffy's body times 10. His body's amazing. His strength, basically first strength, Vegapunk enhanced his muscles and bones with metal, but also kind of used these materials in Sea Stone, broke it down to the point where there's some aspect of Sea Stone tests out devil fruits. He left out that aspect of the Sea Stone after breaking it down for a while and enhanced Luffy's muscles and bones with that, basically making Luffy's interior nearly indestructible. So Luffy can only gains external damage. You can't damage him internally. Like, for example, Law's Gamma Knife. That will not pierce through, it'll break Luffy's skin and tissue, and that's about it. Other than that, his muscles, his bones, tendons, only tissue and skin will be broken by Law's Gamma Knife from Luffy. That's about it. That's a good reference. You cannot break through anything else besides Luffy unless you have really good hockey. Or probably hockey, period, but yeah. You have to be insanely strong or have hockey, one of the two. And also Luffy's elbows can function as pistons as well, because he can kind of shoot out short distances with his bones and muscles, because they can actually do that. But then he has Gomu no pistol piston, and this can he'll shoot his arm out forward. If he misses you or isn't far enough, piston, and you're hit right in the face at the speed of a cannonball, but in a short range. Imagine you're like a foot away from a cannon and it hits you in the face with an explosion. Like, you get hit that hard by Luffy. So yeah. And yeah, his strength also has no limits. His strength infinitely grows, but his body stays like the size of an average human. So yeah. His speed also no limits. Yeah, his legs are also insanely strong with muscles, and also his body evolves faster. So his speed is already comparing to Gear Second Luffy, while he's only 15 years old, and he's not even using Gear Second at all. Also, Luffy's brain has major upgrades. Vegapunk would share a lot of his knowledge with him. And Vegapunk learned a bit of things, trying to like break down the Nika fruit in Luffy's DNA, as we do know that devil fruits change your DNA. So he figured out a lot about the fruit via Luffy's DNA, but also figured out things about Sea Stone, as he had to break it down to enhance Luffy so that he could basically be the ultimate symbol of freedom. Vegapunk does not like the government. I think that's kind of obvious, or at least inferred, because the government wants him dead for some reason. So yeah, or we're assuming it's him because everyone talks about him like he's a him. So yeah. But yeah, so Vegapunk basically only helping Luffy the fact that Luffy's probably going to free the world. Sure, there'll be criminals, and the government will be down, but the government will be replaced by one that's probably not as corrupted. So for chance of the world to be freed for a bit, and Vegapunk not being I guess oppressed for a while, he'll take this at any chance, basically. Kind of how it is. So Luffy, he shared a lot of his own knowledge with Luffy. So yeah, so Luffy's knowledge, like, combine Judge, Caesar, and Queen, and you think, man, these three, all their knowledge is derived off stuff they learned from Vegapunk. Combined, I don't think they're smarter than Vegapunk. I think he's still smarter than them. Vegapunk's mind is 500 years in the future. One Piece takes place around like if we put a date on it, like around the age of piracy and all that, like the technology used by common communities, 1400s, 1500s maximum. Vegapunk's mind is supposed to be 500 years in the future. 500 years would probably be modern day. But because he's with the government, who makes muskets automatic weapons now, yeah, they are probably living in like the 1800s maximum, because they still use muskets and not assault rifles. Or they use modified muskets, so some futuristic kind of 1800s, or 2000s combined with 1800s, so kind of like that. Combine 1700s and 2000s, and you kind of get the government. But then Vegapunk's 500 years above that, so Vegapunk is living in like the 30,000s, basically. So for us, Vegapunk is like 1,000 years in the future. But yeah. That's like my estimation on him. Also, Vegapunk's smart, but he cannot whip up genetically engineered creatures on some random way. Like he cannot whip up Seraphim. Like, oh yeah, give me a month and you'll have Seraphim. No, he has Queen's DNA on standby. He's likely been working on this for years. Him for Kuma. But then he already has ideas for Kuma. Already has ideas for Queen. But also he's not making Luffy like Kuma. He's making Luffy better with his own free will, like his own bodies. But also Luffy does not obey his orders. He's kind of combining every aspect of the cyborg in the series with Luffy, but Luffy is still himself. So kind of how it's going. So Luffy is able to get the laser blast from his mouth, like the PC Zeros do. But also he would get the Seraphim pyrokinesis and the abilities of the other warlords, which would include. Well, I don't think they can copy Haki, but they can copy skill. So Luffy has Mihawk's sword skill, Boy Hancock's fighting style. Name a skill of a warlord. Luffy probably has said skill. Being warlord before the basically the warlords before Blackbeard joined. He has their abilities, which includes fish and karate as well. So Luffy's a master at that. But yeah. Also, Vegapunk kind of installed every aspect of government training that the world government does for Luffy. Basically, he has mastered Rokushiki and mastered Same Kikan, I believe it's called. So yeah. Same Kikan kind of replenishes your body or transfers muscle into energy or energy into muscle. And it does a lot of random things. Also, you can control your hair like it's a limb. Yeah. For Luffy's durability, his skin alone is the stuff that's diamond, so the man's insanely strong. But also being as durable as a diamond does not mean shit. It's just better than canonical Luffy. At least in the East Blue, it's better than that. So yeah. So yeah, Luffy also has sword skill comparable to most Marines, so Luffy knows the ins and out of the way they fight. Mostly like a different path of life before they join the Marines. Luffy knows the ins and out of most Marines easily. So yeah, one thing he does not know is hockey, because you're not taught hockey. You're not taught hockey in the Marines. If you were, you'd learn it like most Marines would know hockey. Like, we only know that vice admirals, well, cipher pull agents, or basically some vice admirals, CP0, Coby, and Helippo. Vice admirals, CP0, sword, and admirals, and above. We know they know hockey for sure. That is 5 aspects of the government that know hockey out of the 20. Yeah, you're not taught hockey in the government. Or if you are, you're taught hockey by one person, being sword, probably taught by Garp. So, kind of just like you have experience with it, and if you learn it, someone who knows it better than you will probably help you with it. That's all I'll give. That's all you can be given by that. Hockey's not something taught in the government. It's kind of like you know what it is. You just don't know how to use it unless someone teaches you personally. So yeah, there's like a whole group training session for hockey. No. So yeah. Now, back onto this. Luffy's eyesight is way better, as he doesn't want, they doesn't want to give Luffy the, the vision of, the PC-0s where you can, see the bounties and all that. Because right now, PC-0s are kind of, in their prototype still, but they're still good. So, Luffy, what he got is instead, a vision enhancement so he can see 20 times further to make up for him not knowing hockey. What else? Intelligence matching Judge, Caesar, and Queen combined. But keep in mind, Judge made cloning, and you made superhumans. Caesar made gas that can kill anyone, no matter who it is, in a second. And Queen, if you watch the anime or read the manga, I don't know going into all that, he's basically just Judge times 10. So, Luffy has has all that, he can do everything that I just said about them on a level comparable to Vegapunk. Comparable. Not exactly there, he can nearly do almost everything that Vegapunk can. One thing he did instead, though, to mimic the stellar bodies that he's heard about, he made a Mecha Luffy, which is what you see here. Mecha Luffy is the size of a regular Luffy, so about 5'7", but can turn into a giant Megazord, or that's about 300 feet tall. Well, it also does a few chores. How should I phrase this? Mecha Luffy's kind of like the Wally of Luffy's ship. So yeah, that's kind of what he is. He also has a lot of random information about the world. So yeah, he's also kind of like Wally combined with a Megazord and supercomputer. So yeah, Luffy's ship that Vegapunk built him. Vegapunk made this had the ship kind of requested from Egghead Island, then had it brought here underwater, then just appeared one day, and Luffy thought Vegapunk built that overnight. This ship is an arc. It's 642 feet long and 321 feet wide. So it's an arc. Kind of like Noah's Ark, but not as big. As Noah's Ark in One Piece is around 2,500 feet long. Then the estimated Noah's Ark from the Bible, if you use Google, it's just to tell you a few hundred feet long. No, the thing is probably a few 10,000 feet long, because it had to fit every animal to save humanity. So yeah. And Luffy's stretching distance also changed, as now he can stretch 120 feet without the use of pistons. That's actual just raw training. If he does train, he has accelerated growth. That's one thing about him. So he stretches 120 feet pre-time skip, and then post-time skip he can stretch 180 feet. That's actually just him training a lot. Gears 1, 2, and 3 were unlocked before even setting sail, as he unlocked that when he was 16. And Gear 4 he unlocks while he's out at sea for the first year he's out. So he unlocked Gear 4 after setting sail, but also before the time skip. So he unlocked Gear 4 from East Blue all the way up to Sabaody. And he knows about all races, martial arts, all forms of combat, being hockey like that. He knows about all that. So yeah, Luffy's crew in numbers that I have estimates. This Luffy has 413 total members of his crew. Yeah, Luffy's ship's fucking huge. So keep in mind, ships that are like the Luffy's right here, like the arc that he has, he can fit way more than 400. He's supposed to fit thousands of people. Thousands. So yeah. By name, I only have 42 people down. 42. 45 people are written down by name. The rest of them are just, the rest of the numbers that I have are just a few other crews that Luffy absorbed. But yeah, let's start the story now. This is a movie, by the way, so that's why I went on so long with the powers. Alright. So, Luffy ends up setting sail, and basically when he sets sail, Luffy would have a few things with him. Not a few things, a few people with him. Being Keru, Betty, Osu, Karo, Mecha Luffy, Mini Mary, and Mini Sunny. Mini Mary, well, Luffy made like a ram that people in kind of like a jet ski that can turn into a speedboat, kind of like that kind of thing. Mini Mary was named by Makino. Mini Sunny was named by Whoopslap, because he didn't know that was supposed to be a lion. He thought it was a sun, so he called it Sunny. And then for Mini Mary, Makino just wanted a cute name for it. So yeah. If you guys are wondering who Keru, Betty, and Osu are, those are mechanical Sea Kings. Luffy went to the Calm Belt, killed Sea Kings, and turned them into robots or cybernetic corpses. These things can coil up, and then be put in the sea, and they pull Charo. Charo is the name of Luffy's ship, or Karo, as it's supposed to be like the god of ships, or the god of materials, basically. And Charo is kind of like Luffy's version of Karen, just non-romantic. Luffy does not care about romance at all, ever. Karo is a supercomputer, kind of supercomputer AI, and he used the name of Luffy's ship as he can sail himself a bit, but I'd phrase this. He's like the living embodiment of a ship, basically. So this Luffy ship had like a life. Also, he does not have like a face or anything. No, he's just like he's kind of just a living emoticon, basically. That's what he is. Also, he has like his own quote unquote room, which is just Luffy's lab, with a giant screen that like Corona appears on it as like a computer. So yeah. Luffy sails around, and eventually Alvida's ship sees Alvida's crew like kind of somebody in the giant hall. But then Alvida look down over sea as like some guy dropped like a bottle of beer down there. He's like, whatever. She looked down to see what he dropped though, and saw a giant shadow beneath them. He really yelled, "Oh, there's a Sea King! There's a Sea King!" And immediately everyone's like, "A Sea King?" Coby looks down at the ship, looks over the ship and kind of curious, saying, "Alvida-san, that's not a Sea King." We're like, Coby, what are you talking about? That's definitely Sea King. Coby says, Sea Kings are long. This thing is just wide. I mean, you look at it from both sides, saying, oh. Immediately Luffy's ship surfaced. I don't think the ship didn't even take up half the ship. It took up probably like 3% of Luffy's ship itself. Luffy walked out, saying, my bad. Didn't scoop you guys up. Alvida's crew's been kind of shocked at Luffy, like some random guy who has a ship could just pick them up. Alvida's ship guys just jump off board, trying to attack Luffy, thinking he was an enemy. Luffy picked up a fishing pole that he had, saying, this should do. He broke it in half before waving it once, and half of Alvida's crew sent flying off the boat and into the ocean. Luffy has Mihawk's skill. He can make anything he wants into a sword as long as it has the shape. Well, it's kind of broken wood, so it's somewhat sharp. At the worst, at the least, it'll give you really bad splinters and bruises. Luffy beat half of Alvida's crew using just basically he beat all of Alvida's crew using just a broken fishing rod. Eventually, he picked up Alvida's ship with one hand and threw it overboard. Then actually talked to Coby basically, because Coby was someone who wasn't fighting. Coby actually said he needed a lift to like a random island to be dropped off because he's on sick of being out at sea. Luffy put him in the kitchen, saying, "Oh yeah, just talk to him, and he'll give you any meal you want as long as I have the resources." But I should have all the resources. I have food from like every single blue. Coby can help almost cry joy, and immediately he named so many foods that make Luffy almost broke. This is kind of a gag moment. It wouldn't actually happen if it was a serious moment. Making Luffy was everything Coby asked for, and by the time Coby was done eating, he had that giant gag fat belly. When Luffy also told Coby, you should also work out a bit. You're pretty malnourished. So after Coby ate and had like a properly kind of like just had like a proper body now. Luffy sat around the East Blue for a bit, and eventually he took Coby to Shelltown. This Luffy set sail a bit earlier because he was actually out at sea kind of having fun. But then eventually he realized it was his birthday, and he's like, oh, well, I guess I should start being a pirate now. So yeah. So eventually Luffy had got Coby all the way over to he got Coby all the way over to Shelltown. And Luffy's training routine is actually really good. It got Coby in a pretty basic shape in just a few days. So yeah. So Kobe's body now is in average shape now. He has enough muscle and everything. And it's just because Luffy's enhancements. Him even being Cyborg himself. No, Luffy just actually helps Kobe's body. Kind of uses a bit of chemicals to enhance Kobe's body, give him an average amount average height, average muscle mass, average everything about Coby. Wait, he did modify his intelligence to enhance his chance of becoming a Marine, just to help him. So yeah. When Coby dropped off, she actually walked into the Marine base store saying, I'm Coby. I'm here to be a Marine. And that's Kobe's whole thing. Now, I just wondering something about Coby. Or actually, no, if you guys probably aren't wondering this, it's just my inclusion. If you guys don't know about this, there's a thing in One Piece called Doroki. The Doroki kind of just tell you about how strong, kind of like a ranking for Cypherpole agents. So Cypherpole agents are around 600 or something or so. Lucci himself is 600 something, I believe, maybe in 1,000. But then an average Marine is around 10. With Luffy's training martial arts for Coby, but also enhancing his mind so he memorized all of it and didn't just leave it off. He memorized it kind of photographic memory. Not only doesn't keep that memory, no, it was just for everything Luffy taught him. Only what Luffy taught him. In the span of around a week, Luffy raised Kobe's Doroki, that's probably the negative numbers, only up to a Doroki of 300. That's how efficient Luffy's training is, but also if he wants to give Coby an average body. Coby eating Mecha Luffy's food alone, it gave Coby a Doroki of around 8. That's how good the food was. But then Coby, in the span of just around a week worth of training, raised in power to comparable to Khalifa. So that's how good it was. So yeah. When Coby had a test for Marines, his intelligence, his speed, his strength, everything about him passed the point where you wouldn't even be on our level. You'd be probably a Commodore maybe in terms of all of everything. All you need to learn is Marine commands. So yeah. Morgan even got to meet the new recruit who's estimated to be a Commodore. Morgan fought him, and Morgan got the brakes beat off him. So yeah. Eventually, recall the Marines about this guy's stats and everything, and Coby doesn't have a record of being a pirate. He's actually an innocent 16-year-old kid. Also, while the Marines arrived to investigate, being Garp came to investigate, Luffy's ship was under the island. It was under it. So yeah. So yeah, Luffy had to hide the ship and also hide himself from Garp. So yeah. But eventually, by the time Coby was allowed to join the Marines, he actually joined Garp's ship with the rank of a Master Chief Petty Officer in terms of rank. So yeah. And Luffy also told Coby not to say anything about him to any other Marine, or else Coby would probably be arrested. So yeah. But in the meantime, with Garp and Mr. Coby, Luffy also got Coby to actually let out Zoro. And Zoro had the food and everything, and also his wounds were attended to. So yeah. And Morgan himself was also arrested, so yeah. No one noticed that Zoro left. They kind of assumed that he got out while Garp was here and just escaped. But yeah. But Zoro looking at Luffy's ship, seeing how big it is, and also in the training room and how effective it would be. So was like, oh, weights. But for the first time, he picked up a weight that he could not lift. This is new to him. But yes, Luffy picked it up with one hand again, kind of lifting it, kind of like hammer curling it. Zoro was very much impressed by that, so yeah. Luffy also said that he's a master swordsman himself, and actually trained Zoro for a bit. He trained Zoro how Mihawk would train him, basically, because Luffy has Mihawk's skill, and knows how Zoro would train. So yeah. Now going forward, we go on basically to the next part, being just, while they're at, not Buggy Island, Orange Town. And when they arrive, they're still underwater. Luffy had already used Osu, who's the biggest Sea King. Actually, kind of have like a camera, basically. Osu is a robot, so you actually can see Osu kind of like a telescope. He uses a monitor to see through their eyes. And saw Buggy's crew. We had an idea as they go on the other side of the island, and immediately they create a giant roar. Immediately, these guys hear Buggy's crew looking around, only to see Keru, Osu, and Berry. Keru, Osu, and Berry, they emerge out of the water as giant sea kings. Luffy even uses a bit of tech to enhance them, hence their size, and Buggy's Shrew's freaking out, screaming. Nami herself also screams, but as Buggy's Shrew starts to escape, Zoro comes out from over the ship holding a wooden sword, and beat down Buggy's whole crew with it using Itoryu. Pretty easily, actually. Buggy also cannot go intangible, cannot go through because it's not being slashed. He's just being hit blunt force, so it's not slashing him at all. He's just being beaten with a sword, or a wooden sword. Or more like a blunt force object. So it's blunt force instead of slashing damage. Nami actually has Zoro, he was part of the Sea Kings, and she's like, are those your pets? He's like, kind of my captain's pets. And he's like, your captain? Like, pirate captain? He's like, oh yeah. She's like, oh, where's their ship then? She goes around, and immediately the giant ship emerged, and Nami could not help but just freeze in place. The money, the resources, it baffled her at the possibilities. Luffy jumped down, and Nami realized that this guy's about her age. And she asked him, how old are you? He says, oh, I'm 17. Nami and Zoro both froze, rather than Luffy's younger than them. Zoro's like, you're my size, you're stronger than me, you're smarter than, you're better than me every single way, how are you my age? Or how are you younger than me? Nami says, I'm even older than you. He says, oh, I don't know, honestly. And Nami's like, well, did you steal the ship? Luffy's like, no, my teacher gave it to me, but everything else inside I built from hand. Zoro looks at the ship saying, how long did it take him to build it? Luffy says, I don't know, like 3 years. They're like, how long did it take you to build everything inside the ship? Luffy says, 1. And Zoro's just honestly baffled that Luffy could do all that in just 1 year. He explored every inch of this ship. The thing is gigantic. That's what she said. Alright. So yeah. So eventually we go on to about just Luffy inviting Nami aboard, as she actually says she wants to map a Grand Line. Luffy says he has hundreds of those, so he's willing to give her one if she wants it. But as she said, he'll let her stay on a ship and do whatever she wants on it. So he'll give her her own room that's probably the size of a house. And with this, Nami does see the room that he's willing to give her, and she cannot help but cry at this. This room is bigger than anything she's ever lived in. And she asks Luffy if she should have a garden, and he says she already has a gardening room. Set up whatever she wants inside of it. This gardening room belongs to Mecha Luffy. Mecha Luffy kind of acts, Hold up. Alright, to describe Mecha Luffy, I had to kind of write down what I thought of him. It's like a character, if he was like a role-based character. I'd put C-3PO, Astro Boy, Vision, and Bender. I put all their personalities into one person. That is Mecha Luffy. Put the C-3PO, Astro Boy, Bender, and Vision, and just put the personalities in one being, and there you have Mecha Luffy. So yeah, only thing about him is that he's not like getting drunk like Bender. So yeah, Mecha Luffy actually does not like alcohol at all. He can actually drink it. He has taste buds that Luffy even gave him. But still, alcohol is not a favorite of him. Said his favorite happens to be iced tea. Yeah. But yeah, so eventually Nami joined the crew, and everything about it is going to be a lot more fun. Plus the giant sea kings actually scared her initially. They're basically just giant puppies. Like, they have personalities and everything. They're literally just giant puppies. That's what they are. Also, these sea kings are about as big as Laboon is, so yeah. But yeah, so eventually we go on just to probably now we can go on to like I don't know, Start Village probably. Yeah, when they arrive there, they basically get off the ship, and everyone there's like kind of like waiting to see like when you see who gets off the ship. Well, it's just 3 teenagers, well, and like a robot waving bye to them. So yeah, and Mecha Luffy immediately says small drones, and these small drones turn into what seem like miniature humans, basically. These miniature humans are basically just like security measures in case anyone breaks into the boat if Mecha Luffy can't see them. If they also try to enter via like under the ship, usually there's like Keru, Betty, or Osu's on guard. Right now it's Betty. So yeah, so Betty will eat anyone trying to go from like seaside, And then if they get inside somehow, getting past Berry, they have to face Mecha Luffy, who's about as strong as regular Luffy is. At least physically, like in terms of like stats, physically, like IQ, speed, strength, all that is similar to Luffy. So yeah, the difference is that he can turn into like a giant Megazord. So yeah, but yeah, going forward again. Usopp actually asked like to see their ship because it's a massive one, and actually Usopp actually asked if he can bring a guest. But immediately Usopp was able to Kaya's house or window and tell her, you know, that he got permission to board the ship via the teenagers. He's wondering if she wants to come out and go see it. She would agree, and she asked Mary to take her out because she wants to go see Usopp. With this, Mary finds out that Usopp was invited to like not join, but to walk around the ship, and it basically Usopp pirates. Usopp and Kaya are allowed to look around. But Mary also wants to see the ship, and Kuro can't help but be curious about the treasure. So he would look around as well. You know, everything. And eventually would use shave to sneak off. But immediately, as soon as you use shave to like sneak into the captain's quarters, someone would grab him by the throat and hold him up against the wall. He would see Mecha Luffy, whose blue eyes are now red. Mecha Luffy only headbutted him so hard that his skull's almost caved in, but he instead said he just knocked out. So yeah. Mecha Luffy would tie him up and bind him up inside Luffy's captain's quarters, and make sure they can't escape this knot. Mecha Luffy even says, I use a amalgamation of up to 108 knots. I'm a nerd. And he's turned around. So yeah. With that, he walked out, and with this, he told Luffy someone tried to break in. He goes, who? He looks at him like, who tried to break in? And immediately, Luffy says, the girl right there, she called him Clawdor. He tried to sneak into your room. Guy says, I'm so sorry, what happened to him? Luffy says, I've detained him. Kai's like, is he dead? Luffy says, no. Hence the meaning of detain, you fool. Kai kind of just froze, realizing that was kind of her fault on that one. He killed him, he just detained him. So yeah. But yeah. But eventually Luffy actually does talk to Usopp, and she mentions that he's friends with Yasopp. And she invites Usopp to join his crew, thinking that Usopp probably has some potential to be as great of a sniper as his dad is. And he says, his dad's a great sniper? Is his dad any good of a pirate at all? He says, oh yeah, his dad's one of the strongest pirate crews in history, actually. I'm pretty sure his dad is under the former, is under his pretty sure his dad's captain used to be part of Roger's crew. Everyone on the ship froze that Luffy knew this, and like, how do you know that? He says, give me a second. Luffy says, Mecha Luffy, meeting room. Mecha Luffy shot over there immediately, came back with a giant stack of bounty posters. Luffy sort of through them, saying, why? Yasopp, here we go. But I wanted poster before she kind of covering up, like some of the numbers, saying, see, Yasopp. And the only numbers he let them see is that his bounty was over 800 million. This is open up, but Cartridge of Joy saying, I've never been so happy about this. And Usopp says, I'll join if you think that I can be as great as him. He says, oh, I don't think it. I'll just make you better. I have no courage in anyone on this crew whatsoever, but I'll make sure that I make them better, even if I still have no courage about them. So yeah. Mecha Luffy says, I agree. They seem kind of worthless. But then again, you turned a nobody into someone worthy of title Commodore in just days. I mean, even the ship froze that Luffy was that blunt about them, that he thinks they're worthless, but also that he made someone a Commodore in just a matter of days. Or at least that powerful. Even Zoro struggles a little bit with Commodores. A little bit, not constantly. Zoro says, Commodores are actually pretty strong. I'll take it. With this, Usopp says, me too. Nami says, do you have anything about weather you could teach me? Says, oh yeah, about weather. Suddenly Luffy opened Mecha Luffy's mouth, pulling out his spine, and immediately running to the back. Mecha Luffy didn't fall down or anything, no, he just couldn't move at all. Luffy ran into the room, came out 5 minutes later, and holding a climb attack, saying, use this. She says, what does it do? Press this button right there, and a manual will come out. So yeah. And with this, Luffy invited, well, basically Usopp and the crew. So yeah. Usopp joined, Usopp Pirates and Kaya leave. And Mary looks like one of the boats that looks like the ship he wanted to build, saying, what do you call this thing? Says, my old adoptive, one of my adoptive mothers named it the Mini Mary. Mary kind of chuckled, saying, wow, it's my name. I also built a ship named Mary. It's not like I'm using it anytime soon. Would you like it? And Luffy says, sure, if you're okay with that. Well, in exchange, here's all this. We push forward or what seems like 10 billion berries, saying, keep this, and there's also a ton of technology with it. Kai can help but be shocked, and Luffy says, oh yeah, Zoro, carry that to the house for them. Zoro picked it up and ran to the house, and Kai actually asked about Clawdor. Luffy says, sorry, but I'll be interrogating him, because he also happens to have a bounty. So his name's not Clawdor, it's Captain Kuro, and probably he's supposed to be dead. So the man you have right now is endangering you and your village as a marine fugitive. Kaya froze immediately and just says, he's been living with us for 2 years. It's likely he's been training you. He's known to, be a genius. He's, with me here, he's probably the third smartest man from this blue. So either he's been using you, or he's been using the village as a cover and would pin all the blame on you. Either way, you're being used. Kaya would then tell Luffy, you can take Kuro if you want to. And she would just leave. Zoro came back, and now Luffy, Zoro, Nami, Usopp, and Kuro set sail. Mecha Luffy is just doing his thing. So yeah. Also, Luffy invited Usopp into the tool room and taught Usopp how to use the tools. So yeah. Whereas like the tool room was like an arts and crafts room, because Luffy and Mecha Luffy both do get bored and make crafts together. Also, Luffy and Coby use it a bit as well. So yeah. Eventually we go forward again, probably the next part being like, probably not Baratier. I think it's a Baratier, there's just a giant ship that docked outside the point where it covered up the sun even with his sail alone with the Jolly Roger on it. We don't announce everyone there was just appropriately to go to such a notable establishment. Everyone here is usually either rich or they have a class. So yeah. But everyone here looks pretty decent. Zoro has like a white button up. I don't like saying this, but this way to describe what Luffy dressed Zoro up as is like Prince Eric from Ariel. So, or My Little Mermaid. That's what Luffy made Zoro look like. For Nami, she probably whatever they wore in Film Gold. Just Luffy has like a suit on, and the Mecha Luffy is wearing what canonical Film Gold Luffy wore. So yeah. We're going on. They go inside. And immediately, everyone's actually asking if they own that giant ship outside. Says, yeah, if the sail covers up like the brightness, I'm sorry. Luffy pressed a button on Mecha Luffy, as immediately the sail went down. This button just kind of gives like a demand to Chiron from whatever Luffy wants or says to Mecha Luffy. Mecha Luffy can actually transmit the message to Chiron or Charon, whatever, or Charo. Well, Chiron, Charo. Whatever you want to say about him, just it doesn't matter, honestly. But yeah, Mecha Luffy and Karo are basically just linked. So yeah. Or if you want to say that Mecha Luffy could be Karo's physical body in some way. So yeah, just Mecha Luffy smarter. So yeah. But yeah. Going forward, eventually Sanji would actually, Luffy invites Zeph to the kitchen if he wants to take anything from it, because Luffy is willing to give him anything he wants to, because he can rebuild everything in that kitchen in about a day. So yeah. Zeph looked at the kitchen, being actually completely amazed. And he says, if you're amazed by this, see the aquarium. Zeph says, you have an aquarium on the ship. He says, yep, I have about a 10-foot room for an aquarium. Probably a 100-foot room to save all the fish that he has, but also a giant storage room that can freeze to the point where nothing goes bad in there. So yeah. Luffy says, yep, here's your giant aquarium, and then you can see my eternal freezer. But you will need a lot of layers of clothing. Well, actually, Mecha Luffy can show you anything he wants to in there, actually. So this is seeing the eternal freezer until Sanji came in. Sanji did, and Sanji looked around, and Zeph and Sanji both say, this man's ship is the All Blue. In reality, it basically is the All Blue. It's just everything on the ship is dead. So, Imagine the all blue, but instead of it being a sea, it's just a giant freezer. So Zoro's looking up and cry on his feet, saying he's never been so happy to be on a pirate ship a day in his life. Luffy did the same thing, and to the point where everyone, all members, all the chefs, kind of bow to Luffy's ship, calling it the All Blue. Luffy just says, "Zoro, is this normal?" Zoro says, "No, I'm not a chef. I don't know what the fuck the All Blue is." So yeah, Luffy says, "I do need a chef, so any of you can join if you want, I guess." Suddenly, Luffy throws someone overboard, and immediately we see Kuro and Gin hit the ground. Kuro is wrestling with Gin, as Kuro was actually trying over the ship, and so was Gin. They're both trading fists until eventually Gin had knocked out Kuro. So yeah. But yeah, if you guys wondering why actually Mecha Luffy threw them overboard, they were just fighting, and they bumped into him, so he could pick them both up, and just drop them. But they're still fighting mid-fall. He says, who are you? Gin just says, "Give me food." Gin says, "Give me food, or else I'll kill you." He says, "Here's a sandwich." Luffy ended up kind of reaching up to Mecha Luffy handed him a sandwich, and Luffy just gave it to him. Gin ate it immediately, and almost cried of joy at how good it tasted. Says, "Oh yeah, there's like an automatic food dispenser up there, because I'm gonna try that out too." There's it has any meal you can imagine. Zephyr ran back up the stairs with every chef following them, and every chef is crying at every ounce of Luffy's kitchen about how good it is. Nami and Zoro kind of just having glasses on, just like coconuts and just drinks, saying, "One of them needs to join us. This crying is getting annoying." Luffy says, "I can just make your kitchen similar to this if you guys want. I won't make it the exact same, because you guys will be in trouble, but still." Well, Luffy modifies their kitchen, and eventually somehow Gin would leave to get Krieg's crew on Mecha Luffy, saying, "Sure, why not?" So yeah, Gin eventually arrived with his crew. Krieg tries to rob Luffy. This Luffy is a bit different in the fact that he does not care who he kills if they deserve it. If you don't deserve to be killed, he won't kill you. But if your intentions are only pure evil, with no reason to be evil, he has no remorse towards you. It all depends on how the fight goes. For Krieg, all he did was just use a simple wave of his hand, and he broke through Krieg's armor. Imagine the sharpest blade ever. Imagine the sharpest blade you could ever imagine going through the thinnest sheet of paper. It's kind of Luffy's hand compared to Krieg's armor. Yeah, Krieg's armor was decimated by Luffy's just hand being waved. But then Luffy ended up getting up closer to him before saying, "Gomu no jet piston." Luffy's arms suddenly then glow pink as Luffy just used multiple piston punches, and they kind of eradicate the bones in Krieg's body, killing him. So yeah. With that, Krieg's crew tries to attack Luffy with his Gin. Luffy then picks up Water Ichimonji before saying, This is too troublesome." He would appear immediately just in the air behind the ship, and immediately every single member of Krieg's crew and the ship are cut to pieces, basically. Luffy looks forward before seeing Mihawk appear in front of him, slashing at him. Luffy and Mihawk then clash swords, and Luffy and Mihawk then land as they should be fighting without even saying a word to each other. They fight. Eventually, Luffy got the fight. Mihawk does realize that Luffy has the superiority in skill. Luffy eventually able to jump over Mihawk before she somebody was holding his breath for some reason. But suddenly Mihawk jumped back before a giant wave of flames, and light shot from Luffy's mouth, firing right at Mihawk's sword. Mihawk blocked using Yoru, but immediately Mihawk was shot right into the ocean. Due to the fact that he blocked the damage, it's just, well, he does not have better strength than a beam of light. A beam of concentrated flames are hitting him. So he's not hit at all. It's just the pressure of it pushed his feet through the ground. So yeah. Everyone was actually shocked that Luffy could actually do that. But eventually, we do see Mihawk get back up, and Luffy and Mihawk keep fighting. And Mihawk eventually into the fight, saying that Luffy has too much versatile ability to actually say that he'll win. He's even using hockey, and he still struggles to keep up with Luffy. Luffy just smirks, saying that he has endless speed. No matter what, no one is going to outspeed him, and that is the same for his strength. It just forever evolves in a fight. It adapts to it or to whatever he wants to do. And that's not wrong. His brain evolves fast, or evolves his whole body fast, because everything about him is connected. Luffy is basically the peak human. Just, he's not fully human. He's basically a god. A robotic god. Cybernetic god. But yeah. Then Miyako fight Zoro, and he's still beaten. Well, Zoro's still beaten, it's just, he was pretty impressed. So, yeah. But we go forward again now on to, I would probably say, like, just... Well, now Gin would join the cruise. Luffy tells him that Gin owes him major time, or majorly. He tells Kuro that Kuro's intelligence could be useful, so Kuro was joining as well. Kuro would nod, Gin would nod, and they leave, heading now towards Kokoyashi. And then as they arrive, they end up saving a marine ship from being sank, but they also see Nezumi about to leave. Immediately, Holo's hand, a giant wave of flames just engulfed Nezumi's whole crew and turned them to ash, and including their ship, to the point where it looks like they were never there. But eventually, like Momo arrive, but Momo is not bigger than their ship, and just gets eaten by Osu. So yeah. With this, Osu, Keru, and Berry all swim up like Arlong Park and just trash it. So yeah. By the time they arrived, though, Luffy had gotten on the ground, onto the ground, and looked around at all the fishmen. Hachi seems to be the only one trying to help everyone to safety, while everyone else is fending for themselves, and even Arlong is. And Nami does mention that Hachi seems to be the only one with compassion for everyone. It is just that Arlong is like a brother to him, so he obeyed him. We had nodded before she knocking out Hachi and kidnapping him, basically. Other than that, he hit the Marines that he saved kidnapped them all. But then the Marines eventually had to leave because Luffy threatened to turn them to ash as well. So, yeah. While Luffy's here, he eventually kind of paid actually all the money they lost to Arlong, which I believe was 50,000 berries per person. So, take away 2 zeros. It was like $500 a month per person per household. So, yeah. Like, say for example, you live like it's like your grandma, your grandpa, your mom, and your dad. So you, grandma, grandpa, mom, dad. So that's like 5-6 people. So about like $3,000. Yeah, that's like per month. So basically, you are paying rent, bills, and rent again. Like double rent, double bills. Like, you already pay average rent and bills, but then multiply that with extortion. So, yeah. That's kind of how long did Luffy had to pay all that back you wanted to pay all that back from like the last 8 years. So, hold up. Using the example I gave plus extortion, Luffy had to pay back over $100,000 per person. So, yeah, $100,000 per person, or 1 million, around 10 million per person, which he did, graciously. This man has a lot of money. From Vegapunk, actually. With all the stuff that Vegapunk does for the world government, I assume this man is swimming in trillions. Probably even quintillions, actually. So, yeah. So now next up would probably be Luffy kidnapping Hachi still. And Hachi gets to know Luffy pretty well, and Luffy kind of reminds him of like Jinbei, but also a few other people. Luffy has a lot of their powers downloaded into his mind. He's similar to them in some ways. So yeah. Going on, would probably next up be the what was it? The Loguetown arc, which is pretty simple actually. Also, when he came to Luffy or Smoker, Luffy already knew who he was because he knows about most of the East Blue Marines. So as it came on Luffy versus Smoker, Luffy literally shot flames from his hand and engulfed Smoker. Smoker didn't die or anything. No, he just can't fight off the flames. So yeah, and Buggy's too scared to fight Luffy. He has Sea Kings. So yeah, 3 of them, actually. And a robot on his side that sends out other mini robots. Yeah, Luffy's just a scary guy to fight. No, not Luffy. Mecha Luffy's a scary guy to fight. He shoots mini humans. So yeah. But we're gonna go forward again. We're gonna go forward on to the next part being like well, Hachi being kidnapped. We go on to the next part being just going over Reverse Mountain. I'm gonna go over all the roles of the crew. Luffy fills every single role needed. Keru, Betty, Osu. They pull Karo, which it's a sentient ship basically. They pull him because he can swim on his own. It's just they're faster. They're also giant puppies, by the way. That's kind of what they are. They're very friendly. Karo, supercomputer, super AI, and Luffy ship, and Luffy sails, and Luffy computer just smarter, and Luffy's robot just smarter. Mecha Luffy, he is Luffy's butler basically, or assistant, whatever you want to say. Or he's the pseudo captain. Like Zoro has like the official role of vice captain, but then Mecha Luffy would be the real vice captain. He is like Luffy's Shadow Hokage, basically. So yeah. Zoro, Vice Captain. Nami, Navigator and Quartermaster. Usopp, Assistant/Sniper. Koro, Assistant number 3. Because Mecha Luffy is Assistant number 1, Usopp Assistant number 2. Sanji, Sous Chef. Luffy's the main chef. Well, Mecha Luffy's the main chef. Gin, he does all the chores. He tried to rob Luffy, so him and Kuro do all the chores. On a 600-foot ship. So yeah. Hachi. Sous Chef number 3. Or, no, Sous Chef number 2, because Luffy doesn't count. He's also a representative of the fishmen. Luffy wants equality. And yeah, now next up, Luffy has a special guest joining the crew. Big boy Laboon. You guys wondering how he can get Laboon to join the crew? Don't worry about that. Keru, Berry, and Osu, they are Laboon size. I mentioned this earlier. There's an island whale. They're Laboon size. Luffy can get them through the red line in some way. The way he does it basically is just he has the Sea Kings kind of just drill through it at like the speed of light. They don't do it fast enough though, so he kind of blasts a hole through the red line using his mouth, then goes through it, and then kind of fills it back up with rubble. Then heats it up to the point where it's really kind of cauterized shut again. Like that. So, yeah. Going forward all over again, Laboon now lives in Luffy's ship. It is so big to the point where it does not matter where Laboon sleeps, he's gonna fit. So yeah, hold up. Alright, I tried something. How did I forget this? I wrote down Laboon's height, but not an ability Luffy's ship. So Luffy knows his brain evolves faster. His brain evolves with his body. His body evolves insanely fast with his brain. His ship does the same thing because Mecha Luffy is supposed to be Luffy number 2. Mecha Luffy evolves really fast. Mecha Luffy is combined with Karo, or is an extra avatar for Karo. Karo's Luffy's ship that's connected to Luffy, who evolves the same speed as regular Luffy. Karo evolves to anything he wants to, be it combat or visitors. Luffy's ship can also adapt to size, so Luffy's ship can go over 2,000 feet long, like Noah's Ark. To fit Laboon, Keru, Berry, and Osu, if you're not pulling him, his ship is usually over 3,000 feet long. So yeah, so usually at night, his ship is larger at 3,000 feet. Or if they're stationary, it's 3,000 feet long. If they're out at sea actually fighting or like sailing around, their ship goes back to 600 feet. So yeah. So yeah, the bottom usually the extra 3,000, not the extra like 2,000 feet that the ship adds is usually just a giant room for Keru, Betty, and Osu to be coiled up in and sleep. And Laboon takes up most of the space. So yeah. Next step would probably be Whiskey Peak, which is honestly a pretty simple arc, as Luffy identifies everyone here as an assassin, or Mecha Luffy identifies it, then Luffy relayed it. So yeah. But with this relayed, they do defeat everyone here for the bounties and money. And the one who claimed the bounty was I'm gonna say the one who claimed the bounty most realistically could probably be Sanji. Yep, Sanji claims all the bounties of these randoms, if they have any. There's bounties in the thousands, that there are. So Sanji claims the bounties. In between the Marines leave, because they can't find Luffy's ship, Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine arrive, ready for smoke. Only for the fact that the smoke is a guy who shoots lasers and stretches hundreds of feet, and a guy with swords and a girl with lightning. Yeah, not me sure should have hit Mr. 5 with just a blast of lightning point blank and blew his head off. Then Zoro cut down Miss Valentine in a split second, ending the fight right then and there. Gina and Koro are kind of cleaning up the village, so everything here looks normal. So yeah. And here Vivi would see how strong Luffy actually is. So yeah. Igor, Miss Monday, and Mr. 9 are actually hidden by Luffy though, because they're good guys, and so is Vivi. But honestly, this what if seems pretty cool, and I'm gonna see where it goes. So I'm gonna end part 1 right here. I said I was gonna make it a movie. I know. The story seems honestly really fun to do, so I'll keep it going. For part 2, I want 300 views by Sunday, or I want 20 likes by Sunday. All right, adios.